In the last installment of Asphalt Odyssey, we traveled from the Mississippi River to the Texas state line. In this installment, we encounter incredible North Texas winds, rain, and cold temperatures, resulting in several accidents on the interstate, making some riders just give up, before arriving at the Midpoint Cafe in Adrian, Texas, for another really good hamburger and a well-deserved cup of coffee, before crossing into New Mexico. Hey guys, thought I'd give you an update. Sitting here at the Best Western in, I've lost track, Shamrock, Texas. We just crossed into Texas just a few miles back down the road. It's a nice, comfortable place to stay. Kind of give you a recap of today's events. First, the bad. I managed to lose the SD card, the micro SD card for the Prism camera. That's the helmet mount. Actually, it's on this side. I think I left it in the hotel room last night. I took it out, saw that there was plenty of space left on it, so I didn't dump the card last night, and was going to put it back in the helmet camera, but the helmet camera was on charge, so I said, I'll just wait till it's done, then I'll do that. Well, I went to take it out tonight, and I have lost today's and yesterday's video. Lesson learned. Fortunately, I brought a backup micro SD card, so we're armed and ready to go, and I got the helmet camera charging. I chatted with Miriam briefly by text, and she informed me that Dimitri, our parrot, has been successfully parked at his boarding facility, where he's going to spend the next 2 weeks while Miriam comes out to join us for the trip. I'm really looking forward for her to join the trip, because one of my observations is for the last week, I really haven't had a chance to really talk to anybody. I thought I'd be talking to all kinds of people, but no. It seems like everybody's busy doing their job and not really wanting to talk. With the exception of the young woman, she's older than I am, but I'll give her that courtesy, at the watering hole. We sat and chatted in front of her TV while I'm eating the hamburger she made for me for an hour and a half. It was quite pleasant. She told me that the only reason she ended up being the owner of that facility was that they were traveling cross country in a motorhome they just recently purchased, and it broke down right there. And she was so frustrated with the breakdown that she decided to buy that little restaurant that had been closed for some time, rehab it, and then turn it into a restaurant. So if you're ever coming through Oklahoma on US 40, pull over onto Route 66, easy on, easy off again, and have lunch at the watering hole. It's a cute little, perfect Route 66 stop. Heading to Tucumcari, New Mexico. Today's weather is supposed to be kind of broken overcast, temperatures in the 70s, which would be for great riding. New Mexico, Texas has got some weird on-off ramps, and there's no real acceleration lane. You have to judge it right, because you get dumped right out in traffic. Also, I think this part of the country allows bicyclists to use the interstate because there are no other east-west routes that are really suitable for long-distance travel. I'm not sure about that, but I read that someplace. I haven't seen any bicyclists yet. Maintenance note. I am really glad. Terry, thank you so much for the big wheel chop you gave me. I had pulled into the Best Western parking lot yesterday for the place they wanted me to park to check in, since I had a trailer, and it was on a significant slope, and the park brake
is not as effective as I'd like it to be. It's not as reliable. It is a friction brake system, unlike your car, which is a mechanical brake, that when it's locked in pretty good. It ain't gonna go anywhere. But it can creep backwards or forwards on the slope. So, had to use the wheel chop. Terry, again, thank you for the wheel chop. You know, my schedule for this trip has been all over the place. I had a pace that I was going to try to shoot for, and I found out that I can actually make better mileage, especially when you're on the interstate. When you're cutting through Virginia, Tennessee, Arkansas, parts of Oklahoma to get out to where I really wanted to be, it was preferable to take the interstate, and I got a lot faster than I thought. So I'm still a day ahead of schedule. I think what I'm going to end up doing is looking at the weather forecast. I am going to go from Tucumcari tomorrow, probably all the way to Albuquerque, and get set up in the hotel and have a rest day in Albuquerque. Actually, it'll be almost 2 rest days because Miriam won't be flying until the afternoon of the second day. And that way I can get caught up on some video and things like that. I got laundry done last night. Washed everything out in the sink in the bathroom with my camp suds, and then used the hotel dryer to dry everything. It sure beats carrying a lot of extra gear. So anyway, back to the itinerary. This is one of the reasons why I was reluctant to make appointments to meet up with other folks who follow the channel, because I didn't know exactly where I'd be, the time constraints and time pressures, so it worked out that way. You know, I wish for all of you who sent out messages to want to ride with me or have a cup of coffee, I am flattered, and I wish we could have done it, because the truth is, I really had a chance to talk to that many people on the trip, which is kind of depressing. It's a good morning for riding. It's a good morning for riding. Temperature outside, 73 degrees. I've also found that my mesh jacket, since the airflow flows through it, anything below about 74 is probably a little too cool because of the airflow through the jacket, so I put the liner in, and that keeps the airflow down. Temperature is supposed to drop today. It's supposed to be in the low 60s as the day goes on. That's kind of interesting. But tomorrow should be nice. Oh, it's also supposed to be really windy today. Upper 20 miles an hour. From the north, so I'll have a direct crosswind. Well, in the last 15 or 20 minutes or so, the wind has really picked up. It's from the north, which is from my right directly, and it's probably forecasting gusting 25. It's not affecting the Spyder or the trailer, but it's affecting me, and I'm fighting it. Tried to raise the windshield; it doesn't do any good because it's just coming right from the right. Wow. This is going to be an interesting day. It's not supposed to let up. Looks like we may have had an accident here where the wind actually got the best end of a tractor trailer and took him off the road. Yep. Alright, the road construction is over for the moment, which means I can actually slow down. When I can slow down, I don't have to fight the wind as much. Thinking, that will be my strategy, now that the road construction is over with. Trying to stay up to the speed limit, and in the one-lane traffic with the tractor trailers behind me, trying to make progress. I felt obligated to go the speed limit, but man, I have to hold on to the Spyder with both hands because of the buffeting, so I won't get blown off. Those wind turbines are all doing pretty good today. So, good Lord. I'm on the service road, and controlling of myself and the Spyder is much better at the lower speeds. The only problem is the wind is so strong, I can't hear the engine. And normally I'm one of those kind of guys that shifts by listening to the engine. But I'm having to look at the onboard computer where it prompts me to shift. I get the arrow to shift up. But my RPM is too low to really warrant shifting up. I may have to rethink my destination tonight. But I'm not sure tomorrow's wind's going to be much better. And then move on to Tucumcari tomorrow, and then make the run into Albuquerque to pick up Miriam. Because once I leave out Amarillo, there's no place else to stay according to GPS and Google Maps until I get to Tucumcari. So I don't know. Spending the day in a restaurant, waiting till I can check in, then changing my reservations may be appropriate. This is not 27-mile-an-hour winds. This has got to be 40. Just outside of, oh heck, I can't remember the name of the small town. But the weatherman lied. There was almost no chance of precipitation. It's been raining since, or misting since Groom, Texas. That's where I got off the interstate, Groom, Texas. I'm taking 66. I can go slower, and there's literally no traffic. I haven't passed another car. I don't know if the wind it's not died down, but it has stabilized, where it's a constant, and it's not buffeting. The topography here is a lot flatter, so maybe that helps. So I can deal with the strong crosswind because it's constant. Just got to lean into it. Wasn't supposed to rain, and the temperature wasn't supposed to drop below 64, and it's already 60, and it's only about 10:15 in the morning. It's not supposed to reach its ultimate low until later this afternoon. So we're about 25 miles from a Best Western in Amarillo. We may just stop in there and reevaluate weather the next couple of days. Worst case scenario, I can go from Amarillo to Albuquerque, and even then, if I can't make it all the way to Albuquerque, I can overnight in I think it's Roseland, something like that. There are some hotels there I noticed in the trip planning. And then I can get into Albuquerque before Miriam's flight lands. So lots of possibilities. I just do know I do not want to get back up on the interstate with this wind. I've already seen 2 wind-related accidents, tractor trailers. I don't want to get blown off the Spyder. So I was hoping to enjoy this ride across the Panhandle of Texas. This is not enjoyable. This is an adventure. That's what I signed up for, I guess. You know, part of me is like, whose idea was this? Then I remembered it was mine.
While leaving a very nice rest stop in Texas, I noticed a 2-wheel motorcycle rider who decided to stop fighting the wind and just go to sleep by his motorcycle. Poor guy had no gear whatsoever. Just a few miles off the road, we exited the interstate again, just outside of Adrian, Texas, which is the midpoint of Route 66 between Chicago and LA. They have a little monument there, a lion across the street, and a cafe called the Midpoint Cafe, which is a great little destination. I decided to take a break and have some lunch.
Leaving Texas for New Mexico. Hey guys.
A little bit of an after-action report. Well, I call it an after-action report because it was like a battle today. We left Shamrock, Texas, heading to Tucumcari, New Mexico. That's where we're at. About 200 miles. And once you leave Amarillo, there isn't a whole lot of way in the way of accommodations between Amarillo and Tucumcari, New Mexico. Matter of fact, according to the computer, there's nothing. About 30 minutes outside of the hotel, we hit incredibly strong winds. They were forecast at 27 miles an hour. A lot stronger than that. I don't know how much of that we got on video. Hopefully we got a little bit. Then the forecast was for no rain, or 1 or 2% chance of rain. Well, it started raining, and the rain was coming sideways like a pressure washer. Had to stop putting on all the rain gear. The temperature is forecast to be in the low 60s. Well, it was actually in the mid 50s. So I had to put on insulation on top of that. So I looked like I was wearing a spacesuit, which is typical when you're driving a motorcycle in high winds and heavy rain. The rain itself wasn't heavy, except it was coming at you so strong because of the winds. How strong was it? Well, 2 tractor trailers were blown off of the interstate. And it was to the point that I didn't think it was safe. Now, the Spyder handled great. It was me, the rider, that was the problem. I felt like I was going to get blown off the motorcycle. It was just the gusts were incredible. And if I lost my grip, I would have went sailing off the side of the highway. So I decided to take the service road, which fortunately in this part of the country, I-40, has service roads that parallel the interstate. So I was able to do that at a lower speed. Took a little longer to get here. We stopped in Adrian and, stopped in Amarillo, had a cup of coffee, where I put on some more layers. Then there was an accident up on the interstate because of the wind. A car hit the guardrail. And then once we got a little further down the road, the rain had stopped, and stopped at Adrian, Texas, which is where the midpoint of the U.S. Route 66 is located. There's a highway marker there. Took some photographs. Cute little cafe. Had lunch there. Then began to press on towards Tucumcari, which is where we're at now. The wind, once we got into the open plains and out of the rolling hills, which is the area of Shamrock, Texas, it was a stable, constant wind, which was manageable. But for a while there, I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it to Tucumcari or not because of the wind. But we did make it, but it was intimidating. I just got off the phone with Miriam, giving her an update. I don't know if I need more coffee or whiskey at this point. But it's still earlier in the evening, so I got to plan my day for tomorrow to figure out what our itinerary is. Shot some video of the wind. Not video of the wind, but video of me driving in the wind. And I'm not sure how much that's going to turn out, but we'll see. But stopped at the New Mexico entrance visitor center once we cross the state line. New Mexico is absolutely gorgeous. The Great Plains just roll on forever. It's spectacular. It's beyond words. So that's it for tonight. Tomorrow is still up in the air. Still ahead of schedule. So we'll see you guys later.
If you like this video, give it a thumbs up.
If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Feel free to leave a comment below.